But if GS can, like, you know, maybe Ease goes in for Ease and Telly go in first, the bunny has to be used against one of them, and then GS can find his opening. That's really going to be where they can make their plays.
Something like that, or even super early game too. If they can just set up a pretty good, you know, if Ease gets in position, one lasso should be enough to walk in on Cyborg, just given the fact that he won't have that disengage possibility.
Yeah. Cyborg and Zatanna have to be very careful early game against Atomic Wonder Woman, or at least once she gets level 6.
Yeah.
If they have good cameras pre-6, they can kind of be okay. But once she has her ultimate, she's just so dangerous on the map. Also, GS is actually going for Atrocitus's Meteor drop on Wonder Woman. This is something I know the European scene is doing for quite a long time with Wonder Woman. You hit your ultimate, you basically drop down and hit your ultimate at the same time. So even when your ultimate is done, they're actually, the whole team's slowed as well as taking that additional Meteor damage. It's a really effective combination.
Yeah, that's really neat. And that's about all the CC that the team is going to need, because there is just I mean, look at the damage that's there for BrawL right now between Ease Genre and Big Impact. I mean, they're going to be able to consistently sit back and do a huge amount of damage with Telly just sitting there in the middle of the fight basically the entire time. This is going to be an interesting matchup, though. I'm really curious to see how this plays out from a pure team comp perspective. This is one of the more intriguing matchups that we've had in a while. We had to like dip into Blue Beetle, and we had to dip into Cyborg. We've got 4 marksmen on the map. We've got really good presence from heavy tank characters for Cow and Telly, so I think that this one is going to make for some very cool fights.
BrawL's lurking here. They're going to try to... Oh, Cow's playing a safe camera. Remember that one game against BrawL yesterday? Cow was like out here trying to put a greedy camera and died to start, and now they know exactly where they all are.
I'm surprised, though, to be honest, that he didn't jump up and do his... Like in Game 2 against BrawL yesterday, you're right, he was like, you know, I kind of died last time I tried this. So he actually reached over the edge and just threw a camera that way. But believe it or not, I actually think BrawL warded against that. They actually put that camera up top just to make sure that he couldn't do that specific play. So a little bit of mind games going back and forth here.
Yeah, a lot of... I mean, that division game is super important. BrawL's constantly trying to find a way to get an early pick, and they tried, but this time the mod games kind of went the other way, and it's all equal.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I was thinking about the composition BrawL ran in their first game against Dolphin Chasers, right? They had 2 marksmen and 2 assassins.
Yep.
And they were really good at making picks happen and killing people. And they basically have 2 marksmen, 2 assassins this game too, because Blue Beetle's both, depending what form he's in. As soon as he gets level 6, he can switch to assassin form. So they basically have 2 marksmen and 2 assassins. But they also have someone tanky this game, which are 2 people tanky this game, which they didn't have in that first game against Dolphin Chasers. So
yeah,
it's scary.
That's definitely true, because they're going to need that against Cow, because Cow, I mean, as he showed in the last game, built almost pure tank. He just wants to sit back and stand there and fight, pop his ultimate, and just look around for a while and be like, what you got? So Zatanna and Kathis doing a nice job of pushing this lane. Lasso grabbed on Kathis, and you see how much damage they can deal out pretty quickly here. Big Impact has enough to actually get the kill, and that's what I was worried about early game, because there's really no way to disengage off that Lasso, unfortunately, for Team C.
Yeah, and he paired it really well with that Meteor drop to slow her down, allow them to follow up with a few basic attacks, and that's a big win. I mean, the first blood is always a nice thing to get, but especially in the bottom lane, the damage to the morale of Team C that'll do, because it's really going to put Zatanna and Kathis on the back foot for basically the rest of the game. And more damage coming out from GS.
Are you kidding me? Wow, Zatanna goes down to about 20% health. And not only was that first blood and a good kill in bot lane, that did not require a gank. That was just a 2v2. So that means that the jungler on BrawL's side, Ease, was able to go back. He's able to just walk back out and start jungling again. He has not had to waste any of his time, and he has, you know, just been farming free.
Yeah, this bottom lane is going to be very difficult for C going forward. I mean, I think they should just be defensive until 6, and then maybe they can make a play with like a Bunny plus a Superman ultimate. I guess the good news for C is the other 2 lanes are going well. I mean, the mid lane's pretty much a wash, and I think the top lane has been pretty even as well. Looks like both players. I mean, right now Swamp Thing's timed it up in credits, but of course there's, you know, a lot more drones for Cal to kill once they get to his turtle. Though a great fist there from Telly, and Gas Choker. He should be fine. He can heal pretty fast.
Yeah, he'll be okay. But I mean, still losing a quarter of your health. That was a good little combo by Telly there. And it looks like BrawL is going to go bot here and try and pick up. Oh, did they actually snag another kill? They actually got Kathis in the middle of that, and that's going to open up that surveillance camera bot.
Yeah, sorry you missed that. Another kill on Kathis early on, and That's really, really hurting C now. This early game is not going their way, and I mean they were dominating the early game against Mixed Company. You can see a very different game here when you're up against BrawL. Though attempted gank here on Telly.
And pretty good heat vision there, knocks him back into the wall. Telly's just trying to get away for now, but he's not going to be able to do it. There's the fear. Oh, he does! Did he have a husk up? And he gets away. Really well done by Telly.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I think part of that was just knowing the cooldowns really well, and he was able to get there before the next heat vision came up, and it was close though.
I was wondering why he juked to the north there, but when the ham came down, he actually pushed him north farther away. So I don't know if that was his intended effect and that was a really heads-up play by Telly right there, or that was just kind of an accident. But it worked out well for him, and he was able to teleport away with just a sliver of health.
Yeah, I mean, he was no way he was going to get out on foot, and that's one of the strengths of Swamp Thing is he has those husks he can kind of teleport to. I don't think he has any other husks up right now, but
no.
I'm sure he's going to send some out over the next minute or two as soon as he has those available.
Okay, so bot lane, Kthis and Zatanna are really far behind now, and it's going to be very difficult for them to exert a lot of pressure on the map. Kthis is still at level 3 at the moment, and Ease actually gets ganked here from the side. There's the heat vision coming down. Ease has taken a huge amount of damage, but there's not enough. No more hams available for Cow. He's not able to get anything done. Misgen takes a huge amount of damage on the way out.
Oh, an optimistic bat screen trying to find wherever Ease was at, but he actually went further back knowing that was a possibility. Definitely a heads-up play by him. Although IGP somehow got a level ahead.
Yeah, he was actually half a level behind a second ago, too, so he's done a very nice job of maximizing his path to 6 here.
Yeah, he's definitely doing well in the mid lane. So, I mean, the bottom lane has been going very poorly for C, and you can tell that they're feeling the pressure. They've really been trying to make these plays happen top lane. They've done well top lane, but they haven't made any big plays yet. And I wonder, is the pressure going to get to C? Are they going to feel like they're too far behind? Or are going to say, wait a minute, we're two kills down. Our bottom lane's not, is having a little bit of trouble right now, but we're actually only like 600 credits behind. So we've made up basically one of those kills just in doing better in some of the other lanes perhaps, or having better jungle clear or something like that. I mean, actually, if you look at the junglers, there's only about a 80 credit difference, even though Atomic Wonder Woman does have the kill. So
yeah,
Superman has definitely been on top of his clearing.
Yeah, definitely, and even though his ganks didn't work out, he had the right time for them too, and they were just very close. I mean, had any of that damage that it missed Telly initially in that first gank, this would have been a completely different game up top. So, Misgen just going after the surveillance tower. He's going to eventually knock that out. Takes a little bit of damage there from Blue Beetle, but no big deal.
Yeah, that was actually pretty big. He got both a husk and a surveillance tower. Those are two huge kind of vision and mobility plays for BrawL. You see another husk is on its way. But anytime you can take those out, it's pretty nice. Swamp Thing can carry 2 charges, but it takes a little while to accrue each charge. So if you keep killing them, he's going to have a hard time utilizing them.
Definitely, and misses with his vines there, doesn't get as much damage done to Cow as he would like. Cow is almost strong enough to the point where he's starting to just back Telly away, doesn't want to get in super close and risk the ire of that ultimate and just taking that passive damage basically the entire time.
Yeah, Cow's kind of bullied Telly a lot in the lane, denied him a lot of assets. Part of it's been, some of the gank attempts up top, but he's got himself a 400 credit advantage in the top lane, which is pretty significant.
Ooh.
Going in on Ease.
Yeah, will they have the damage to lock this down? Cow comes in, he ults as well. Ease falls. Telly now actually has to get out of there for the time being. Blue Beetle coming up from the bottom. I don't think they can turn this around as a 2v3, but they're thinking about trying.
Yeah, I think C is scared because they're like, you're going 2v3, you must know something we don't. So they were kind of backing away, but it ends up nothing happening. Kthis almost went down in the bottom during that as well. So, I mean, the good news for C is that they're able to kind of stem the bleeding in the bottom lane. They're still each behind by, by roughly, 300 to 600 credits bottom lane, but they've evened up the credits overall with some big plays elsewhere.
Yeah, mostly due to I'm going pro here in mid, to be totally honest. I mean, he's only up by 100 credits, I know right now, over genre directly, but he's up a level. He's been consistently pushing drones back to his opponent's turret, so this has just opened up more mobility in the mid lane for the rest of his team to pass through as well.
Yeah, and right now, Genre has his ultimate available, and in duels, it's a more useful ultimate than Gaslight Batman's, because it unlocks 3 extra abilities, which he can, again, chain with his passive for more damage. And this is the danger zone for I'm Going Pro. If a gank comes in on a Blue Beetle lane, it's really, really scary. Now, the good news for him is that Atomic Wonder Woman doesn't have any hard CC. She has a slow, but they have really no way to get him out of his bat flight. So as long as he keeps that on cooldown, he's actually not that easy to gank. There's no like grab, there's no stun or anything to really lock him down.
And in bot lane right now, Ease is actually setting up for a bit of a gank. Kathis and Zatanna not going to take the bait, though. They're going to fall back and help Superman out for a second, just jungle for the time being. So they're not looking to overextend themselves at all, because any more damage done here by BrawL would be catastrophic.
Yeah, I think they know they're a little underfed right now. They need to catch back up. I mean, particularly Cyborg. Zatanna, too, as far as controllers go, she's one of the ones who I think she definitely can use artifacts more than, let's say, like a Nightmare Superman, who just, as long as he pops his ultimate, is good. Just because Zatanna's skewer combo can do a ton of damage, but you do have to be up in levels and artifacts.
You're right, but we've already seen how effective that combo is, though. I mean, it has rocked people today. I mean, I forgot exactly who the teams were, but
it was GS.
It was GS.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So GS was on there, and in their first game against Dolphin Chasers, whenever everyone was coming back down to bot after just going back and buying, one combo, and well, now my marksman's missing 2/3 of their health. So.
Yeah. Yeah, Zatanna can definitely do some really insane damage, but I think they're playing much more cautiously, and I think after being punished by a couple lassos, that's probably wise, because you can do a bunch of damage, but then you get lassoed and you're dead.
Right.
So that's not a favorable trade.
Yeah, they want to be able to sit back and poke because they don't have any escapes, and they just won't be able to get out of this.
Oh.
And there's the lasso. Will they have enough damage on Kathis? No. I mean, Big Impact wasn't really in position to be able to take advantage of that, but it does scare Team C for a bit.
I'm actually a little surprised that we didn't see two ultimates there. With the Wonder Woman ultimate and Atomic Joker, they maybe could have gotten a kill, but there also could have been a bunny that would throw off their damage chain.
And I guess
they
didn't have any support around or anything like that as well. Looks like they're going to try and go in on mid. I'm Going Pro is taking a huge amount of damage, gets down to one auto attack away, and he can't quite finish him off. And the Meteor came in from the side too. That wasn't going to catch him. So failed gank there from Ease, but it will send I'm Going Pro back for a little while.
You know, those cool like Meteor finishing blows, they always work in solo queue against me. but I don't think they work so well against IGP. He's like, no, I'm not going to walk into that one.
Yeah, crazy how that stuff works, right? Missed lasso there from GS, so they're not going to be able to engage on that. But, yeah, I mean, they still do have ults available, like you said before. So if they get that perfect engagement, Satura's low enough that they could probably just combo directly on top of him.
Yeah, oh, there it goes. A great bunny, though, and a Superman ultimate comes in here.
All right, but Ease is already around, too, so they're going to try and turn this around on Mystigen. Mystigen did jump in. There's the teleport from Cow, too. Mystigen ends up going down, but Big Impact is going to fall. GS is going to go down, too, so Tura ends up getting killed from the side. Telly did teleport down, too. Keithis has enough damage to be able to finish off... oh, I'm sorry, that was actually Cow that got credit for the kill there on GS, but Keithis was doing the vast majority of the damage. Telly is still trying to kill Keithis, despite the fact that he's probably going to die to Cow. Gets a little bit of health. Pretty good ham actually fears him away, but he's still alive for the time being. Finally ends up falling, but this allows Blue Beetle, because there was no Atomic Joker around, or I'm sorry, no Gas Joker around, allows him to pick up another kill. So in a crazy sort of way, that ends up being an even exchange, but a very extended fight.
Yeah, I think that was a 5v5 fight. I mean, it didn't start 5v5, but everyone from both teams got involved at some point. 4 went down from BrawL, actually. Everyone but Blue Beetle, whereas only 3 went down from C. So a slight win from C, but they were both so low, and BrawL's players died faster that they're actually able to get back on the map to the Raider in time, and that actually makes it almost dead even again in credits, the fact that they're able to reclaim that Raider.
Yeah, pretty much. Dead even in credits, but maybe an ever so slight overall advantage for BrawL with the Raider and with having the EMP in, and now they can start to get back and push down some objectives. Mystigen is running free up top here, so he'll be able to knock out that surveillance tower pretty soon. BrawL grabs the bottom one, and things have calmed down a bit.
That was a really interesting engagement. It looked like Satura was going to get caught, but the really fast Bunny and Superman ult, and it looked like it was going against BrawL, but then Genre just came in and was able to, even though his rotation was actually a little bit later than IGP's, I think it was that Genre was able to do a lot of damage to IGP while he was still trying to finish off, I forget who it was. I think it was Ease or it was someone was running away, and he was kind of diving that person.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird communication. Like, Cow didn't kill Telly quick enough at the end of that last fight, so
Yeah.
he was forced to chase him out, and as soon as their protection was gone, Genre jumped in and was like, you guys have no hit points. This is not going to end well for you. All right, but things are back to standard now. Cow trying to do his normal thing and clear out his opponent's jungle camps, but there's pretty good surveillance camera coverage there for BrawL, so they have a good idea when he's going to pop up.
I mean, Cow is going to be a problem for BrawL, I think. He's the richest player in the game by reasonable margin. I mean, well, both the mid laners are close to him. Both Genre and I'm Going Pro are both pretty close to him at around 48, 4900. But Cow is just, I mean, his suit of stars is almost finished. And against, you know, a team with 2 marksmen and assassin, I mean, most of their real damage is an attack damage. He's going to be very, very hard to take down.
Yes, he will be. As he showed in the last game, too, he gained not a similar advantage because he actually had a weak, super early start to the game, but picked it up really well almost immediately after that. So he's actually been given an advantage in addition to what he had last game. And as you mentioned before, he's starting to complete some really powerful artifacts.
Yeah, I think the only thing C still has to watch out for is their bottom lane. I mean, Zatanna is still, you know, several hundred credits behind Big Impact. So, but as long as they play safe, having no Wonder Woman in your lane means that you can't really push the turret very effectively. Because as soon as the enemy's under the turret, you're basically fighting with one person. Because Wonder Woman can't do anything against people who are under the turrets, unless you're going in really big and turret diving.
Right.
Yeah.
What Cow here, though, you can just see the difference. Just look at the life bar. Just look at the way that Cow is continuing to push things up. I mean, Telly's done a nice job of wave clearing a bit here, but he just has no ability to stand in against Cow. I mean, Cow just trades for a quarter of his health right there, but with only running his ult, basically.
Yeah, and the one good news for Telly is that Cow has a hard time pushing a turret. But he's like, I don't need to. I'm just going to take all the jungle camps, and, you know, you may be able to clear and you know, clear the drones, but I'll get even more heading credits and actually hurt your jungler as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, Cow now just going to continue to push this out. I'm Going Pro is in danger of dying here. There comes Ease from the side, and he is going to fall, so another kill going over to BrawL. Here comes Mystigen. I don't know if he has enough damage right here, but he's just waiting on Zatanna to catch up. Ease does jump away. Mystigen has to get out of there, and that was very nearly I mean, Mystigen, a risky play. I think it was a good gamble to try and get something like that done, but that was almost a 2-for-0 for BrawL.
Yes, and it was almost a 2-for-1 for C. I think if Kathis was able to get there a tiny bit faster, I mean, I'm sure the bunny was up. That would have been a free kill with the bunny and Zatanna there, and maybe even a second one. So BrawL did an amazing job getting the kill and then disengaging and kind of not falling for Superman's bait, basically.
Definitely, definitely. So, Cow is just going to continue to push up top here. BrawL GS and Big Impact have been very effective down bot this entire game. That level advantage has kind of disappeared a little bit, though, as Zatanna has moved up and made a couple of plays to contribute to some kills up top, and they did get a little bit better of the engagement in pure kills down bot before, whenever that big 5v5 engagement did happen. So, despite that, though, this turret is continuing to be pushed in. Bot lane's just really doing some smart stuff. It looks like there was a Mystigen went up top to try and jump in on Telly, but I don't think they did much.
Yeah, just a little bit of damage there. IGP is being a little aggressive, but he knows that Mystigen is near him. No ultimate from either of the junglers. They both used those a little bit earlier. And Ease is lurking here. I mean, he's tried to make this position gank happen a couple times.
Yeah.
And I think that C is just playing safe enough in the bottom lane that this is a tough angle to gank from. It's often a great spot because it's almost never warded, or there's no cameras there usually, just because your opponents have a hard time getting to that location to put a camera. So it's often a good spot, but the opponents know that as well.
Definitely, and with as active as Ease has been down there in ganking, they're certainly been scared basically the entire game. So once again, we are dead even on credits, and when you're looking at the winners match, one of these folks going over to the regionals, I mean, this is about as close as it gets. This has been a good game so far. Yeah,
super even. I mean, both teams have kind of slowed down a bit, but we do see a number. I think the Leviathan and the second Raider are coming up in about the 20-minute mark. And that's going to be a spot where, like, currently we just saw, I think there was a pick in the middle on I'm Going Pro. Actually, hold that thought. Superman's coming in big here, but I don't know if they'll be able to make this work for them.
No, I mean, GS got away pretty efficiently there, so that's a wasted ult from Mistigen, and that's going to be down for a couple of minutes now. So that does actually give Ease a potential to, for the next, like, 60 seconds, he can kind of wait and pick his spot because he knows there's no counter-ganking potential from Superman, and he might be able to jump in on one of these lanes that really needs the support. Now, this would certainly be a good one.
Yep, he tried to do it, but I don't... Oh, actually, can they make this happen? Not quite. But yeah, Ease has really been focusing on that mid lane. I think he saw what IGP was capable of last game, and he's like, okay, I need to make sure this guy doesn't get out of control. And he's gotten him twice so far.
Yeah.
But actually, even though he's gotten IGP twice, there's not that big of a credit difference between the two mid laners. It's only a few hundred. So
yeah,
IGP's still hanging in there fairly well.
Not even just hanging in there, but I mean, he's actually been effectively pushing Blue Beetle back the entire time. Genre has just not had the success, just purely in laning, that he would have wanted to have. He's done a great job, of course, in moving into other lanes and picking up engagements, but yeah.
Well, we're getting to that point where we're almost at a point where if someone dies now, they won't be in position to fight for the Raider.
Yeah.
And that's pretty big. I mean, if you die when there's no objectives up, it's not that big of a deal. It's a few hundred credits, right?
Right.
But if then your death causes the other team to be able to pick up a big objective that's worth another 1,000 credits, all of a sudden that's when things can start looking really bad. And we're at there right now, so you can see teams are going to start really being, diligent about getting their vision up, about making sure, the top lanes, for example, they want to make sure they have teleport. Or even if one of the top lanes gets pushed in and can't afford to teleport out to join the fight, that's a pretty big situation as well.
Mistigen starting to rotate top here to potentially jump on Telly here. Telly, you think, recognizes this. They have pretty good camera coverage up there, so it doesn't look like he's going to get overextended. All right, and down in bots, GS and Big Impact have been doing a nice job this whole game of just pushing back to the tower, but things have really stabilized down bot after that big fight. Ease has not been able to get in. He's had 3 failed ganks, as you mentioned before, in that position down at the left-hand side pad, and he's going to try it again.
It looks like they want to get this. Yeah, they want to. Well, I mean, he might actually go for a gank here. He could jump across the car, but definitely want to at least get the camera. That'll help them with more vision around the Raider. I'm going Pro is starting to push the lane a bit, which I'm always scared of because the last couple of times he's done that, Ease has come in there. But I think they probably recognize Ease must have been down bottom getting that vision, and of course he's going to place it near where the Raider is. And that's going to be a very, very powerful tool.
Absolutely. So, looking back up top, Cow just continuing to farm like a madman. He did extend his credit advantage over Telly a bit ago, and yeah, as you can see, he's up by almost 2K credits right now. You were talking about best in the game by a large margin. Blue Beetle's caught up a little bit there, but other than that, yeah, he is in a pretty dominant position, has been this whole game, and he is going to be necessary for Team C to open up good team fights for them.
Oh, he's going and right in the middle of everything. BrawL does get the Raider, but C can pick up a couple kills here.
They definitely could, but GS manages to get away. Telly comes in from the top. He's actually dove directly on top of Zatanna. He just doesn't have the damage to be able to knock him effectively out of the fight right now. GS comes in with a lasso. He's not going to be able to get too much done. I'm going Pro did get dove on. He ended up getting killed, but so did Big Impact as well. Oh, a great combo right on top of Kathis and Zatanna. They both end up falling. Cow going to try and come in on Genre here. Does he have a ham left? Nope, not one that can reach his opponent, unfortunately. GS looks like he's going to be able to get away as well. Fear knocks him up a little bit, but that was not a bad little trade for BrawL, a 3 for 2 and the Raider.
Yeah, definitely a win for BrawL there. I think the problem that C had, Cal was in a great position, but I'm Going Pro was kind of separated from the rest of his team, and Blue Beetle and Atomic Wonder Woman both basically 2v1'd him, took him out fast enough that they could then rejoin the rest of their team, and not having I'm Going Pro's damage there was a pretty big issue.
All right, well, Cow is just chasing down Telly right now. He doesn't even care. Root comes out from the vines, and that's going to be enough to slow him down, but not enough to stop Cow from being able to knock out once again. Ooh. Oh, did he actually hit the Leviathan with the edge of his ult there?
He must have. It must have just pissed the levy off, and he's like, get off me.
You're not here anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so Cow's going to move back. He'll buy a little bit, and he should be able to, even with half health, he should be able to be fine in this lane. So, not much doing across the rest of the map right now. Raider is down, Leviathan is up, but no one's really in a strong enough position to contest it right now.
You know, the one thing that is almost going to be kind of bad for C is just the fact that, okay, Cal is really, well off in credits, but the team as a whole is still behind by about 1.5K. And then if you discount the top laners, because often I said there, the whole team's going to be behind by like 3 to 4K besides the top lane, which is going to mean that, you know, if the top lane kind of remains mostly an island, the rest of the map is going to be heavily favoring BrawL.
I will say, though, Genre at the last fight did pick up a couple more kills in addition to the pickoff he had gotten before. So he has actually taken over the overall credit advantage in the entire game right now. So he has had a pretty strong team fight phase. His positioning has been pretty excellent so far, and he's done a really nice job of just capitalizing on opportunities his team gives him. So Genre, even though he had kind of a weak laning phase, has really come out of it in the team fight phase really strongly. Oh
yeah, I mean right now he's 5-0, and I guess the only weakness of that means that if he goes down, it's going to give a good amount of credits to the opposition. But that's a good thing, right? If you're 5-0, that's I mean that's saying something. We did see when they put 3 in the mid to take on the mid turret, Kathis and Sertura kind of pushed down bot a bit, but then quickly backed off, saying, wait a minute, we really don't want to give him some more easy pickings here.
Oh man, that lasso was really close to hitting Kathis as well, and Big Impact was ready to take advantage of that. So Kathis, pretty good dodge there, keeps his little bot lane alive for the time being, but once again, they are being pushed back to turret, even though GS is a little bit down in level because he has been roaming so much.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the bottom lane, GS is basically even with Kathis. So all those extra kills and stuff, most of that credits has kind of been countered there. But the big difference is if you look at Sotura and Big Impact. Big Impact is just doing really well, 2,000 credits ahead.
Cal going to take out that jungle camp once again, just continuing to farm like a madman for now. Satura's got to watch about getting a bit too far there. If he gets turned around and lassoed, which indeed he did, Big Impact can follow up with some pretty good damage, and they knock out about 40% of his life.
Yeah, and that had to force a bunny immediately out of Kathis, because if the lasso was followed up by like an ultimate and some more damage, it would have been a kill. So luckily for C, the bunny has quite a short cooldown compared to other ultimates. It'll be back up and you know, actually very quickly here, but it was always good to force that out.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, like you said, super short cooldown there, so Kathis is going to be ready with another bunny here if necessary. GS is in a pretty good spot here, though. I mean, they've won that camera war down there. There was a lot of defensive cameras that were placed by Team C in that bush just because they were getting run over so aggressively at the beginning of this game. But BrawL's done a nice job of continuing camera coverage there and making sure they don't give up vision. Up top, actually, Telly's being chased down by Cow a little bit there. Gets forced out of lane for the time being, and that turret is actually in danger of falling right away. Yeah, I remember I saw Cow take off half its life earlier. I don't remember getting this low. What could have been happening is Cow had such lane pressure when they both teleported down to joining that fight around the Raider. There could have just been so many drones that they actually did a lot of damage just by themselves to that turret. So that's a fair point.
Cow is, you know, once Cow gets that turret, then what he can do is when he pushes the lane, he can leave and have a lot more time before it gets back to his turret again. So it'll give him more time to kind of roam and try to really utilize the fact that he's, you know, the most fed champion on Team C.
Definitely.
And they could really use his help elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Ease has been a bit behind the scenes over the past few minutes now. He was pretty aggressively trying to gank bot throughout the course of this game, but he's really just been kind of sitting back for the time being and waiting for opportunities to happen. Looks like they're trying a 4-man push down bot here. I'm Going Pro is reacting, and Mistigen is ready for the counter engage as well, and he's actually going to go directly on top of Genre. Will they be able to nuke out Big Impact from the side? I'm Going Pro gets locked down by Wonder Woman off to the side. Very well done. Genre going to try and finish him off. There's Big Impact. Big Impact ends up dying before he kills I'm Going Pro. Bouncing head comes through, and that's going to be enough to secure kills. 3 members of Team C have gone down, but it's been an even exchange so far, as Genre falls as the 3rd member for BrawL 2. He's not going to be able to catch up immediately. There finally leaps in, takes a bit of icy breath from Mistigen, trying to run around and avoid a couple of those skill shots. Doesn't have enough health, though, to be able to finish this off. Mistigen would win that straight up. And while all of that happened, Cow pushed down the top lane, didn't need to teleport in, and once again, Telly is getting pushed back very far.
Yeah, I was actually impressive that C did evenly in that. Oh! Ooh,
that was really close. He's going to try for this, though. He gets slowed a little bit on the way out, so he won't be able to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, that heat vision came in at just the right time. But yeah, I was impressive that C traded evenly there, given they were effectively like 4,000 credits behind that fight because they were missing Cow. Which was pretty huge, but I think they had the better end of the engagement. Like Ease went deep in on Kathis, and then Kaythis kind of backed away, and it took him a little while to finish him off. And they weren't able to really kill IGP as fast as they wanted to. The GS locked him down, but he still had like a sliver of life, and on that sliver of life, he secured like 2 kills or something before they were able to finally finish him off.
And of course, Genre did die, which meant a bunch of credits went back over to Team C now. So they are actually just 600 credits down, and we have essentially a completely even game right now. Maybe a ever so slight advantage for Cal because they did, or for Team C because Cal did push down that first turret, and it opens up a lot more map presence for him. Whereas Telly just really wants to start working against that first tier turret.
Yeah, and that was the first turret Team C's got in this game. BrawL's already got in C's mid turret and their bottom turret, so it's going to give C a little bit of hope, particularly because the top lane's where the Leviathan is. So the more pressure you have top, the more control you have over that large objective. Now the Raider is still going to be an issue for C. They've lost the first 2 Raiders, and the third one is available now, and they're going to want to try to contest this. Oh, Superman going in on Genre.
I don't know if that's the wisest decision. Maybe it was. They're just going to format this, and they have plenty enough to finish him off. Never mind. I was surprised at the sheer amount of damage that they were able to collapse at once, but a very effective kill. Genre goes down again. This opens up Raider for them, and with Cow being as strong as he is, I don't think that BrawL is in a position to really contest this 4v5.
Yeah, Genre is down for a minute. I mean, C's just waiting for Cow to catch up. He was killing some of those little mushrooms that Telly was throwing out there to teleport. There still is vision, so BrawL could try to sneak in and steal this. No, they're not going to be able to get it.
Yeah. One fine, pretty weak attempt to steal.
Telly's like, let me get it.
Come on, 30 damage, go! Man, that would be a really precision hit.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and wow, Team C actually going as a group up to Leviathan right now. I don't know if they want to try and contest this immediately. They're going to try and turn around on GS right now. Cow is in the middle of the fight. He is in a pretty powerful position. Pretty good disengage from BrawL so far, though. GS really had to watch out, almost ran directly into I'm Going Pro, but they will be able to disengage for the time being.
Well, they took away half of GS's life, though. And Genre is just now coming back, so I don't know if he'll be able to get to the fight in time. And here's the question. C needs to kind of take this levy down. They need to... Oh, there's GS going in big. Can they kill him before he gets good ultimate off? Yes, they can.
All right, but I'm Going Pro might fall here off to the side. No, he does a very nice job. Gets shielded up, swings back a little bit, and he is going to stay alive. Big Impact has been able to just sit at the back, though. He hasn't really been dove on, so he does manage to get Misogyn as a kill, and it's a 2-for-1 so far. Genre has joined the fight, and everyone is very low for Team C. There is a potential they could turn around this into a big quadra kill, but a great fight management there from Team C. They only lose Kaythis as he runs away. I'm Going Pro and Zatanna stay alive. Cow is going to be enough to finish off this Leviathan. A great turnaround for Team C.
Yeah, that was a really strong fight for them. I mean, particularly like you said, the management of rotating damage there. I mean, Ease went in big on I'm Going Pro, and he almost got him. But the ability, you know, between I'm Going Pro, I think he popped Invulnerability. I think he popped, it was Kaythis used his shield, and they were just barely able to keep him alive and then melt Ease. And his damage continued throughout the entire engagement.
Definitely. So, wow, well done there. Zatanna and I'm Going Pro especially for surviving in the middle of that, because basically everything was comboed on top of I'm Going Pro at the beginning. Okay, so now we have a 4.5K credit advantage for Team C at the 32-minute mark. The first time that we've started to see a reasonable lead develop from one of these teams. Second turret has gone down in mid as well, so we're basically even on turrets. We're ahead on objectives for Team C. They're slightly ahead on kills. This is still anyone's game, but Cow is starting to take over.
Yeah, and Team C still has all 3 of the Levy deployables. So they have that shield on I'm Going Pro, that the team shield. They have the Leviathan core, that AoE true damage and slow on Zatanna. And, of course, Cow is the EMP, because he's like, if someone's going to dive a turret. You know?
Of course it's going to be him. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense there. Yeah, that was a big fight, particularly for the marksmen of Team C, as they stayed alive throughout all that. I mean, now I'm Going Pro has a ton of credits to his name. So Tura's basically cut half the difference between him and Big Impact, so he's becoming much more relevant now.
And Genre, after starting 6-0, has gone 1-3-2 since then, so he's not had as big of an impact. He has been getting caught out, and he's got to watch out now his positioning in fights.
Oh, and so Tura's getting some free farm, and Turret's here at the bottom, and what is BrawL going to do to answer this? You're going to get a vision deployable, but that's not a huge objective. I mean, they're just giving Zatanna free roam here. I mean, unless Genre can take the mid turret, but no, IGP's countering that.
Yeah, and there's
feels like an oversight from BrawL. I mean, this is pretty huge. He's gonna keep going.
And you would think that if they were going to give that up, they would at least force a 4v3 or something like that, but they're haven't been able to do it. They're actually disengaging from 3 members of Team C.
Wow, and look at that, 2 turrets down. So Tura now is ahead of Big Impact in credits, and Cyborg, I mean, if you give him credits, that's scary, especially because every team fight, they've been focusing all their initial burst on Gaslight Batman. And now with Cyborg, and once he goes back and buys, I mean, they can't ignore him like they've been doing. They're going to have to decide, do we get IGP, do we get Sotura, or do we just die to them?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to jump on top of Zatanna. He doesn't have as many escapes. You can burst him down immediately, and then I think you have to, like, even though the temptation is, of course, well, I'm going pro is still a lot stronger right now. He is the single biggest damage threat that they have. You can't go after him first because he does have an escape, and he does have a better potential to get away. But if they can't just insta-gib Zatanna, things are going to look really bleak for BrawL.
Yeah, I think they're really going to rely on Genre and Ease, because they're kind of the 2 assassins, but it's so risky because they're going to have to dive past Cow. And then they're also very squishy. One of them might get bunnied instantly, and then, you know, the other, yeah, you dive Zatanna, but you still got IGP dishing out damage, you know. It's going to be a tough engagement for BrawL. I think they're going to have to rely on, like, Telly to make space. And so far, he hasn't really made that space. It's actually been Ease who's been going and making the space. But as this game goes on, Ease is not tanky enough to really make space for the team.
No, not at all. And since Telly is now down 3.5K credits just to Cow at the moment, I mean, we see who the superior tank is at the moment. You can just see in the itemization right now. So
yeah.
But Telly, he gets a pretty good fist on Cow there, but it's not like he's doing damage. He's actually, with decent trades, losing vastly more health. Really nice ham from Cow there, and he actually stops Genre for a while. Genre does morph into his assassin form for a second, comes back, and then tries to do some auto attack damage, but it's just literally doing nothing.
Yeah, and if he kept chasing Cow, he would have ran right into IGP and Zatanna. In fact, I mean, look at 2 shots and Ease is a good chunk of his life, so he cannot be tanking damage. And
man, and even GS right there, he pokes up a little bit to get one lasso in and then just gets tanked and gets nuked out of that. So
yeah, Zatanna's poke is is pretty real at this point. This is going to be an uphill fight for BrawL. C still has all those deployables. We can see Misogen's lurking. I think he wants to use his ultimate. There it goes.
And he's going right on top of Genre. Genre backs out, though, and he starts laying out damage onto Cow. He has done a pretty decent amount so far, but that does allow the rest of Team C to finish off the turret with the deployable, and there's not much that BrawL can do about it. In fact, Ease has taken a huge amount of damage. GS gets turned into a bunny there, and he is going to fall as a result. No, he gets away, and he does actually drive away Cow for a pretty decent period of time. Genre finally does end up falling, and Taylor's going to go down here as well. No! Gets away. He had to have had like 4 health left over, and Cow, believe it or not, ends up going down. That's actually going to be a fair number of credits back over to BrawL, and he is out of the fight, which means there's a lot better chase potential. And of course, Ease, with that ultimate, catches right up to I'm Going Pro and finishes him off.
Meanwhile, looks like Big Impact got taken up by Zatanna. Now can Ease get away? The Frost Breath. Oh, the dazzle from Zatanna, not quite enough slow. And at the end of that, was it? It was basically an even trade. I think it was like 3 for 3 or something like that.
Yeah, something along. It was actually just a 2v2 with the turret going in favor of C. But to be fair, the 2 targets that went down on Team C's side were I'm Going Pro and Cow. So that was like the best potential that BrawL had to try and jump back in and get something done. But they didn't have any of their sustained damage. Yeah,
and you know, the nice thing about that for BrawL is, you know, yeah, they lost a turret and an even trade, but C used all 3 of those Leviathan deployables. So the next team fight, they won't have those at their disposal. And the fight management was really good from BrawL. I mean, Genre picked, I think, the perfect time to jump in. Yes, he got nuked, but not only did he save GS from jumping in there and forcing him, oh crap, Blue Beetle's coming, we have to retarget on him. But also, he was able to dish out a lot of damage before he fell, which allowed those follow-up kills.
And credit to GS for annoying Cow for a long enough time to draw him out of the fight and keep him getting auto-attacked while not dying himself, because it was very close. 1 ham on top of him would have been enough to kill him. So.
Yeah. It looks like Team C will get the next Raider and grab the EMP. He's just still looking. He's a little dangerous. I guess Atomic Wonder Woman is fairly mobile, so.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so pretty much everyone for BrawL is in mid, though, at the moment, and it looks like Big Impact was the last one to try and catch up here.
Keith is just trying to set up some vision. Oh, the Levy's coming up fairly soon here in a few seconds. This could be a very decisive fight. This could be a way that either BrawL comes back in the game in a huge way, or that Seed just continues to snowball. And actually, if Seed takes like a big win here by the Levy, that would probably be game at this point.
Yeah. And GS is back up. He backed for just a second there, top off his health, make sure that he grabs his last couple of artifacts, and this is about an 8K disadvantage for BrawL at the moment. C has been playing this very well up to this point, and they're just trying to keep strong vision control around that Leviathan. As you just saw, though, drones are pushing down top at the same time, and this is going to be a very difficult engagement for BrawL.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically going to lose that top tier 2 turret. I think it's, yeah, that one's going to die. Unless you see Telly has a little mushroom guy there, a broccoli guy. So he could teleport there quite easily, but oh, there goes in on Johnner. That's a great target to initiate on if they can force him out early. That would be amazing for C.
But he actually gets away from the bat screen and retains a bit of his health. Keith is actually going down very quick. Believe it or not, Cow has actually been targeted down pretty quickly too. Johnner and Ease have fallen so far. Keith has gone down, but the rest of Team C is actually taking quite a bit of damage. There goes Satura. Mystigen going to fall down right underneath him. No, he actually manages to get GS off to the side. Telly does not have enough health to jump back in. He is going to fall as well. And a great turnaround from Team C that could have very, very quickly gone against them. Good fight management from I'm Going Pro. He ends up taking out a number of those BrawL players, and it secures his team a 4v2.
Yeah, it looks like he actually wants the dampener.
Yeah.
Oh, this dampener almost died to that massive drone push that was going top, and IGP is going to get some damage off on this one.
Yeah.
You know what really was big for BrawL that fight is GS had an amazing ultimate that really wrecked Team C, but it didn't catch IGP, and he just went ham. That's kind of what happened there.
Yeah, pretty much, and he has got so much damage right now. He knows he can just outright win this with like 2 auto attacks. He knocks out Big Impact. The bouncing head is not going to be enough. He is ferocious.
Is he just going for the win?
How much time is left? 30 seconds left, and I think he has enough damage here. Cow actually working against these turrets as well. He should be able to tank most of these shots here. I'm Going Pro going to knock this out, and I can't believe it, but we're just seconds away from seeing Team C take this game, and they're going to advance into the regionals of Germany.
Oh, IGP just has to make sure he doesn't die to drones. A few more shots should do it. He's trying to avoid that drone damage. And yes, there we see it. C takes down BrawL, the favorites, to be the team that advances to Germany as the #1 seed from North America.
Crazy. Wow. Absolutely crazy. And you know what that also means? They're probably going to avoid a first-round matchup against